Hello, my friends. Hello, my life warriors, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Day in, Day Out podcast. Yes, this is episode 32, which I had the delight and pleasure to speak to Ralph Peterson. He is a best selling author of 3 books. He is also a management development coach. I've got to say, this guy, yeah, very much of the conversation we had, I got to say, was quite inspirational. His attitude to basically working out and basically pushing himself. He was a guy who weighed 350 pounds at one point, and his strategies, we talked about how he lost the weight and basically got himself on track, is quite amazing. High school dropout to basically getting a number of degrees. I believe it was 3 in total, as well as a master's. So yeah, I've got to say, it was very inspirational having him on the podcast, and a joy to speak to. So sit back, enjoy, and enjoy the show. Thank you very much. Please subscribe, and hey, have a great day. Peace. Hello, my friends. Hello, my life warriors, wherever you are in the world. Oh, this is the Day in, Day Out podcast. This is episode 32. Today, I have the immense honor to have Ralph Peterson here, who is a best-selling author, professional keynote speaker. He also helps management and develop coach. I don't know, that didn't really make much sense in my mind, but still, he helps develop and coach people as well. He has, rather than me go through his long history of work and what he's been doing, let me hand it over to you. Ralph, please introduce yourself to the lovely people.
Hi, I'm Ralph Peterson, and I work in management development. So I help people figure out how to make that next step in their career. How do you go from being the super worker to being the supervisor? That's what my specialty is. Yeah.
Excellent. So basically, you're helping people make that sort of next big step. And with the way the world is right now, I think a lot of people have a lot of time to reflect on what that next big step might be.
No question. Actually, if there's a broader message I hope to bring to everyone, it's that there's a huge need for leadership in every industry all across the world, whether it's a business, a small business, a large business, a state government, a local government. There's a need for someone to say, you can count on me. I'll take the reins. And so because there is such a huge need, my next statement is it's learnable. You can learn how to be an effective manager. And it's worth it. It's the best career move you will ever make. So if anybody out there wants to be a manager, please do it. Inquire to your job, inquire to your, wherever you work or whatever you do, whatever your industry is, say to somebody, hey, I want to be in charge here sometime, and try to get on some type of a track.
Yeah, and with regards to the sort of realm of leadership, I think we've all seen examples of stress leadership, bad leadership, and basically when leadership has stepped up to the plate and come out on the other side and shone. Over the last few weeks. So I would say.
Well, there's one thing I left out, of course, and it's probably I don't need to say it. Everybody knows, but it's hard to be in charge. So why doesn't everybody do it? Because it's super hard. It's harder than you think. Like if you're on the outside and you've been the super worker for a long time and you've been looking at your manager and thinking they're an idiot, you're like, everything they do, you're like, I definitely could do that. Just know that when you get into the hot seat, it's a lot harder than it looks. And, so be prepared, so it's not impossibly hard. It's just, it takes a lot more work than you think. It takes a lot more hours than you think. And it's just harder than you think. But.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. It's also like when people start their own businesses, it's like, it's easy to do it from the sidelines, as you mentioned, but it's not really understanding the buck. When it all comes down to it, ends with you. And like, as an employee or someone who's not in a leadership role, it's quite easy to go, hey, ooh, what a mess. Oh well, it's time for me to go home. Bye bye. It's like, yeah.
That is right where I live. Right where I live. That's the dichotomy, between that whole idea of you can leave it here and go home, or you can't leave because you've agreed you're going to be responsible for this mess. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like this is the thing. Like, wow, I've got to say, you have been a person who's known about taking responsibility from like a very young age. Like you were in the Marine Corps, is that right? Back in the day.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Let me see. A friend of mine, Gregory Allen Reed, I've had him on the podcast before. He was like also a Marine, but on the West Coast. And like they say, yeah, in the Marine Corps, they call him a Hollywood Marine. If
Of course.
like everyone on the East Coast's like, yes, we're the real Marines. You're Hollywood. Yeah. Like, yeah. How long?
I know a few Hollywood Marines. Absolutely.
Would you? You just looking at? I know a few.
I know a few.
Yeah.
Tell them the sunglasses. You can see them a mile away. Like, all right, Hollywood, let's
go. With your time in the Marines, how long were you in the Marines for? Say
8 years, but for a great deal of that, I was injured. I broke my back during a live fire exercise, and so I was taken out of the game about 4 years in.
Yeah.
And so I spent the next 4 years rehabbing and working my way out of the system. But
that must, oh God, I can't imagine. Like getting an injury is like one thing, but when you're like sort of laid out, that must have been like quite tough, challenging.
Yeah, you know what's unexpected? So when you get injured, right? It's very little you can do. I mean, broken legs are going to happen. Rolled ankles are going to happen. We work, Marines, they work in an environment where it's go, go, go over any type of terrain. And so the idea that an accident happens, I mean, of course, right? That's definitely going to happen. What I did not know, what completely caught me by surprise is how Marines treat, and I did too. So just full disclosure, I realized that I did the same thing, how we treat those who cannot be a Marine anymore. So if you break a leg, I remember the first guy I met with a serious injury, maybe a year before I had my injury, we were doing spiral rigging. So we were doing fast roping off of a stationary platform that was supposed to be a helicopter, right? So all we were doing is fast roping down to a platform, pretending that we were invading Iraq and going on oil platforms. That's legit what we were training for. How do you overtake an oil platform in the middle of the ocean? This guy went fast roping too fast and broke his leg. Now, he was training a legit hardcore Marine Corps, gung-ho. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't overweight. He wasn't anything other than a good, solid Marine working just as hard as everybody else. As soon as he breaks his leg, we all treat him like he is the worst, scummiest, low life, got no time for him. And even I did to some extent, and not even realizing, because Marines eat their own. And it's kind of set up so it has to be that way. So it was super surprising to me when I got injured. All of a sudden, the people yesterday I was close with and we were getting after it together. And today they're like completely giving me the cold shoulder. They're like, you don't have to get into formation. Yeah, forget about you. You're not even part of us anymore. We're going on this mission. And you have to be that way on their end. But man, what a sucker punch. Forget the injury. The back will heal, the legs heal, the arms heal, the rolled ankles heal. But not only are you not able to go with your team, they don't even want you anymore. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah, because like this is the thing. I would have thought it'd been all kind of band of brothers type situation. Like, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, you've got yourself injured. Don't worry. Like, don't worry. You'll be like, when you're fixed, healed, you're back with us. And like, you know what I mean? Or is it more of a case of just like when you say it like that, it feels like they're going to be like off doing what they're doing, and you're going to be back home, and like they don't want to have that sort of mental tie. I don't know.
1,000,000%. There are some, of course, I had some good friends who would check up on me and everything, but out of 100 people I was working out with on a day-to-day basis, I had 2 people go, "Hey, are you all right?" The other 98 was like, "Ralph, who? What are you talking about? He was here? I have no remember."
You remember the other guy? Not what? Jeff? No. Ralph. Frank? No. Ralph.
It was a blessing because I got moved to the regiment. So I was in a battalion and they moved me to the regiment to do admin work. And that's where I met some of the greatest leaders that I even today try to emulate. I had this guy named First Sergeant Wright who was probably the manliest man I've ever met in my life.
Okay.
Like he walks out on the floor and everyone just notices. I mean, first of all, he was massive, real big. There wasn't a single thing about him that was not pressed, wasn't, groomed, out of place. He could, if he was 6 foot tall, he stood so tall he was 7. You know what I mean? Like, he grew a whole foot by just his demeanor. And so not only that, but the way he spoke, that he would never say, "Hey, how you doing today?" He'd go, "What's going on?" I mean, he'd just bark at you. Even in general, nice conversation, he's getting after it. And man, did I want to be that guy. Yeah. I mean, I was like, now that's a Marine. Holy hell, that's what I want to be like.
No, you know what? You just describing him, I was like, yeah, sitting up a bit like more straight. Okay. I can imagine every time he did like talk to you, like, okay, no, I shouldn't be at attention. We're just having a conversation. No.
Exactly. I mean, it's the type of guy who slept on a concrete floor on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, just ready to get after it at any moment. Oh, God, I love that guy. Just loved him. And he was very smart and he was humble. I mean, how can you be so massive and so outgoing and so, I mean, he literally had experience with bringing people into hostile situations. And at the same time, the sweetest, kindest, you know what I mean? It's just, just an all around one of the greatest Marines. And there's 4 or 5 Marines like that I had the opportunity to actually work with when I moved to regiment. When I was in a battalion, I worked with the guys at my own level, corporals, sergeants, lance corporals. When I got to the regiment, there were generals, the command general was there, the gunnery sergeant, first sergeant, the sergeant major, everybody, it was like a whole different class of people.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, you start hanging around people who are better than you, you have no choice but to get better. I mean, it just oozes out of them and you're like, definitely shining my boots quicker. I'm going to do it better. I'm going to start doing more push-ups in the morning. I'm going to stand up straighter when I walk in. I'm going to be snapping,
No, like this is the thing. I think that's a problem a lot of people have in the world. And like whether it was back in the day, present day, or in the future, I think they don't surround themselves with enough people which will like help either like get that fire in their belly going, so it helps elevate them to that next level. Everyone gets kind of very comfortable and stays where they are, and they like with that you surround yourself with people who are not going to necessarily make you uncomfortable to go, okay, let's get to that next level, or okay, let's
100%.
get to that. And worst case scenario, you might have people which actually are the sort of millstones which can like either pull you back or like make you not like miss out on that potential you could be if you go out there.
I got to tell you, I've had intimate, I'm going to use the word intimate relationships with both, where when I got out of the Marine Corps, I got out kicking and screaming. I never wanted to leave the Marine Corps. I love being a Marine. I love being a Marine today, and I'm not even close to being a Marine, I mean, as far as what I do. But I loved it. I wanted to be a Marine my whole life, and I never wanted to leave the Marine Corps. And so when they're like, we have to let you go because you can no longer – and the Marines are an interesting thing. Like once you're no longer rifleman ready, if you can't carry a weapon and go – and with a broken back, it's a little difficult. You have to get out of the Marine Corps. And so, I mean, I'm like kicking and screaming and clawing and writing letters and trying my best to not get kicked out. But eventually they won and I got kicked out. So what happens is you get kicked out and you're like, okay, so what I wanted to do, I can't do. And so I take this other position, this other job, a new relationship with this, new relationship with that. And all of a sudden you start drinking. You know why you start drinking? Because everybody else is starting drinking. And I lost control for a long time. I'm going to tell you something. I lost control so much that I weighed 350 pounds.
What?
350. And actually, I say 350, but actually my scale only went to 350. So I was really E, which is what when I get on a scale, I go E like error, like, oh, I don't know what E. Like there's something wrong with this. Yeah. Or the wrong thing was the Twinkies I was eating. So I had fallen pretty hard into alcohol and depression and hopelessness and overeating and stuffing. And yeah, so I just celebrated 7 years of being sober. So I got sober April 25th in 2013, and I started walking, and then I started taking care of myself and trying to figure out how to, I've been in working in management development my whole life. I just love being in charge, and I love helping others be in charge. And you can take out the word in charge and insert the word hero. I love being a hero, and I love helping others be a hero, because I think all managers, that's really what we are. We're here to come to save the day. I don't know if you're a Mighty Mouse fan, but I grew up on Mighty Mouse. So
yes, no, I remember I remember Mighty Mouse well. Here I come to save the day. There you go.
Yeah, man. So I just love it. So I have a lot of experience with identifying problems, roadblocks in work. I have a huge amount of experience writing job routines and trying to figure out job flows and where you should start and where you should end and all of that. I've been doing it for years and years and years. And here I am, 350 pounds, alcoholic, struggling, not wanting even close to be where I am. And I was watching there was a commercial on television. This is in 2013. And the commercial was on the 7-minute ab, like, a perfect looking girl and a perfect looking guy doing, just 7 minutes a day and all you have to do. And so I'm watching, because it's in a loop. Whatever I'm watching, that keeps coming up as a commercial. And it dawns on me as I'm watching these two. It dawns on me that it is their job. It's their job. These two people in the commercial, it's their job to look like that. Their job is to have the perfect body. Their job is to have everybody else go, I want that.
Yeah.
And so imagine if that was your job, if your job was to have 6-pack abs and to be ripped and everything. Think about what would happen if somebody said to you, because somebody always says to me, or said to me at the time, they'd be like, hey, it's so-and-so's birthday. We're going to go out Tuesday night for a couple of drinks and some pizza. I'd be like, sure, I love that guy. Let's go. I'd love to go celebrate his birthday. What if it was my job to say, sorry, I can't go drink and eat pizza because it's my job to look like this? So what if it was your job not to go out? Right? Like, you can't have beer and pizza and be on the commercial for 6-minute abs, 7-minute abs. Right? And so it was that mindset I started to go, wait a minute. What if I wrote myself a job routine? What if I started to go, okay, let's put a number on it. What if I weighed 300 pounds? How do you lose 50 pounds? What if I weighed 250 pounds? How do you weigh? What do you do? What's my roadblocks? Because I've tried every diet. You name the diet, I guarantee you I've tried it, from Herbalife to Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, the Atkins diet, the Paleo diet, the Whole 360, the F Factor diet, the grapefruit diet, which, by the way, I still love the grapefruit diet. It's all it is like the whole premise behind a grapefruit diet, if you don't know, is grapefruit is a great citrus fruit that stifles hunger. So you don't get hungry with grapefruit. Okay. And if you pair grapefruit with a protein, it's like a double. So like I'll have an egg white, scrambled egg whites and a half a grapefruit, and it holds me over longer than a bowl of oatmeal. Like in a bowl of oatmeal will legit hold you over. I mean, that's a nice meal, takes you a while to stay full for a long time. I'm telling you, half a grapefruit and some egg whites, try it. Just try. I'm just telling you, it'll stomp your hunger. It's a weird thing. Who knew? Grapefruit and egg whites. But so I said, okay, let me figure out why I have failed in every one of those diets. Like what? Because I've been my own worst enemy on these diets. So what are the things that I can do to try to figure out how to win this game of dieting? And that's how I wrote my book, Adventures in Dietland, How to Win at the Game of Dieting. And I give you 50 tips on what I did on the game of time. And it's stupid things. I'm going to tell you, this is something super dumb. Throw away your fat clothes. Throw away your fat clothes. Every time you get down a size, let's say you go from a 48 pant. That's where I was at, by the way, 48. What's up?
I was like, yes.
I used to have a xylophone of clothes in my closet. You know what I mean? Like they'd go from 44s. I never got below 44. From 44s to 48s. I might have even had a couple of 50s in there, you know. And I would legit, I'd get on some kind of a path and I'd lose weight. I'm like, oh my God, I'm on a 48. Oh my God, I'm on a 46. Holy cow, I'm thin now. I'm in a 44. And then I'd get back to the 46 and I'd be rooting in, where's my 48s? And, you know, I'm just gaining that weight again. Then I'm losing the weight. Then I'm gaining that weight. Then I'm losing the weight. Total yo-yo effect. I have learned that you will grow into your clothes. You know, even when you're a kid, your mom tells you, put this on. It doesn't fit. You'll grow into it. You know, I've got it a little big because God knows you're going to get bigger. The same thing happened to me when I was an adult, except I was getting bigger in the opposite way of growth, you know. So throw away your fat clothes, burn your fat clothes, destroy your fat clothes. If you have a pair of pants like a 48 and you're in a 46 right now, go in your closet, take every 48 pair of pants and get rid of them. Throw them away, give them away, burn them. I don't care what you do. Take them out of the house. There is something so significant about not having another level of clothes to go to.
Yeah.
I don't own an extra large. I have to stay at a large. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it kind of, I believe it's Tony Robbins. Like he takes the old saying of burning, like if you want to take the island, you got to burn the boats. If you've heard that before. So
absolutely. As a matter of fact, I wrote about that in my first book. My first book is called Managing When No One Wants to Work. And I wrote about that same story about Hernan Cortez and how he came over and he had Spanish and they were going after the Aztec Empire. So the Aztec Empire had all this gold, like a ton of gold. And Cortez, I mean, he just had hero in his eyes. Like the whole idea of bringing all that gold back to the Spanish queen and all that. I'm like, he was like, oh, I'm going to be a hero when I get there. And the Aztec people, 100,000 Aztec people. And he had 600. So he had 600 people, maybe six ships. So maybe 100 people per ship. And the idea that 600 people can overtake 100,000 people is ridiculous. But he says, we're going to do it. And he almost has a mutiny. Everybody on board is like, there's no chance this is going to happen. And so he orders the burning of the ships. And so they're burning the ships, and the crew goes, like, what are you doing? Why are you burning the ships? How are we ever going to get home? He said, we're going to take their ships. So great, right? Whether the story is true or not, and there's been debate, doesn't even matter. It's such a fantastic way of looking at all in, like taking away the comfort. You know, here's one of my rules. Throw away your microwave. Stop using it. That microwave, I grew up on a microwave. Like my parents got a microwave when I was like 13 years old. And from 13 years old until I threw away my microwave at the age of 42, I bought food that was microwavable. And when I was a kid, it was Magic Fries, Pizza Pockets, junk galore. And, you know, when I was a little kid, my mom would say, I'd say, hey, I want something to eat. She'd say, wait for dinner. You're going to spoil your appetite. Wait for dinner. Wait for dinner. Wait for dinner. We got a microwave, and I no longer asked her if there was anything to eat. Because I could now cook it. I just go to the freezer. Whatever's in the freezer, I'm going to take that, throw that. And then she'd be like, here's your dinner. And I didn't want to say, oh, I just had a pizza pocket. So you know what I did? I ate dinner.
No, that's
so now I'm the fat kid.
No, Mama. I can't eat anything else. I honestly just like I slaved all day to make this for you. Okay, please. Yeah, no, but it's true. Like if you think about like 99% of all food what goes into a microwave, no less if it's been pre-made, is like if it comes out of the pack, it's not going to be good for you more times than not. So yeah, I can see how that is another thing.
there's something, I mean, dieting is such an interesting thing because it really does come down to, how you think and how you think about yourself, how you think about food. And if you think about food as a convenient grab and go or an inconvenient grab and go that you put no forethought in and you're just going to get, I can tell you, I spend probably a crazy amount of time thinking about food. I think about food. Right now, I'm trying to lose some more weight. I'm trying to train up for a race. And over the last 3 weeks, I'm down just under 10 pounds.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Fantastic.
So that's 10 pounds, which when you don't have a lot of weight to lose, losing weight, any kind of weight is very hard. Like when you're 100 pounds overweight, you see that come off very quickly. A couple of changes. You pull out the soda, you stop with the chips. It's pretty easy to lose some significant weight. But I don't have 100 pounds to lose, obviously. But the idea, how did I lose 10 pounds in 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks, I guess, is because I pay attention I track everything I eat. And when I don't track, I gain weight. I think about breakfast. I'm thinking about breakfast last night. When I'm having breakfast, I'm saying to my wife, what are we having for lunch? At lunch, I'd be like, what's dinner? And I'm pre-tracking, like, microwaves in that grab and go type of food will take that away from you. Where I'm telling you, I know a lot of people are like, I don't want to have to count points. I don't want to have to track. I don't have to write down calories. Well, then, okay, then you're going to stay where you are because you get what you focus on.
Yeah.
You get what you focus on.
No, this is the thing. I'd say, like there are ways people sort of set their goals and targets, and like this is the whole thing. Like if you set that is the one major target and you hit that target, I find like you often see people get a little bit depressed or like they fall back into old ways because that target is everything. It's the be all, it's your focus, it's your North Star. And it's like, right. But when you sort of like go, okay, I want to stay this like shirt size, I want to stay this like trouser size or pants, as you would say over in the States. Like it's not a thing which is like, this is the overall target. It's a continuous, always going. It's a like never ending game, if you get what I mean. And so you don't have like, okay, I can stop. This is my target. I've achieved it. I've stopped. It's like, right, bam. I've hit my like shirt size. I've hit my pant size. Now I need to keep going to make sure I maintain that. Always keep going. Always keep going. And with that sort of constant mentality, all I can imagine it does is just helps aid you with other things which come up in your life. So therefore, yeah, because you've lost that weight, you are healthier, you've got more energy, then you can like take on other things in your life and add that to it. Just from like managing just one aspect of your life. And yeah, so much more comes together and your life is that much more enriched. But I think when people just do that big goal, you hit the goal, and then basically there's no need for the discipline, the focus anymore. I remember watching Tyson Fury when he won the world heavyweight championship the first time, and he mentioned how he got depressed and he was like, yeah, I hit it. What's next? It was like, there is no more worlds to conquer. And he just drifted away went into a little bit of a dark place before he like got his head together and came back. It's hard, you know?
Yeah, he hits on something very important. I hear a lot of people talk about it, and that is you need a goal. You need to be working towards something. There's got to be something. I started running marathons I ran my first marathon on my birthday in 2014. So April 12th, 2014. I ran my first marathon. I ran my second marathon and then my third marathon later that year, and like 3 weeks apart, which was ridiculously crazy. But it was because I signed up for a marathon with my friend, and then as a goof, we heard about the Marine Corps marathon, but it's a lottery. We're like, let's sign up. We'll never get in. Of course, we get in, and we're like, they're 3 weeks apart. We've only done one marathon together. All of a sudden, we have 2 more back to back. And it's a scary endeavor to be thinking about that. And so like, okay, so what's the training plan? We come up with this whole running training plan on how we're gonna do it. We get to the second marathon and we do really well. And then 2 weeks later, we're super scared because we have no idea if we're going to be able to do it. We get there that morning and we both feel great. We're like, it's crazy how great we feel. We like totally feel great. We run that marathon. While we're running that marathon, I think to myself, oh, you know what? You've done all this work. You're running your 3rd full marathon. Like you ever would have thought, a year ago, you were 150 pounds overweight. Today, you're running your 3rd marathon. What if you always had that? What if you just try to maintain marathon? Like, don't lose it. You're working so hard, don't lose it. Like, find another goal. And I have then started to run a marathon a month. I'm almost 3 years in where I have run a marathon or greater distance every single month. And so I've run 75 official full marathons. I've done 3 full Ironmans. I've done a ton of 100-mile bike races. I've done a ton of half marathons, half Ironmans, all that stuff, with one goal: to continue to be in the same shape I was running that 3rd marathon. So for me, I train every day for the next race because I always want to be in the shape. I never want to not be in the shape. I love how I've become. I love it. I love that I'm a marathon runner. I love that I have 75 medals, marathon medals. I love it. And the reason I wrote my book, Adventures in Dietland, was because once you figure out how to do something, and everybody's like, oh my God, how did you do it? For the longest time, I refused to write the story. I'm like, it's so embarrassing. It's so nice. Could you imagine if you and I were just talking and you never knew I weighed 350 pounds? You would never know that I was once in this dark, depressed, hopeless state. You'd think, oh my God, this guy was always just good to go and fantastic. And not true.
No, like this is the thing. Like, God damn, like 75 marathons, and like, look, it sounds like you are like you're still training hard, but like, that sort of okay. Like, I haven't run an official marathon myself yet. I was going to do the Paris Marathon this year.
It got canceled.
But, like due to the big city, that's been cancelled. Like I was going to do, like my plan was to do a whole heap of running this year, but that's all gone by the wayside. What sort of training did you undertake or undertaking right now to sort of like keep yourself in marathon shape right now? Because
I run 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And I signed up for my first 100K with my goal of doing 100 miles.
Yeah.
So I'd like to do a 100-mile race. So I signed up for 100K, which just got canceled. So for the last 5 months, I've been training really hard because I've been working up to this 100K, which is 62 miles for those who want the translation there. So 62-mile race. I've done a 50-mile race, which was really hard, but it was challenging but fun, and I was able to complete that. So I was like, I can do 62. So the race just got canceled maybe 4 weeks ago. And so I find myself in the middle of my training program with a decision to make. What's the decision? Are you going to continue this training program, which is very hard, has me running 6 days a week? I run twice on Wednesday and Thursdays. On Wednesday, I ran 8 miles this morning. I'm going to run 8 miles this afternoon. I'm going to run 10 miles tomorrow morning on Thursday and run 10 miles tomorrow afternoon. And then I have one day off, and that's Friday. And then I do a long run on Saturday and a long run on Sunday, which means like a 4 or 5 hour run on Saturday and a 2 or 3 hour run on Sunday. And I don't take another break until Friday, right? Like that's my training schedule now for this 100-mile race. So when they cancel, I got to sit back and go, okay, I'm running pretty hard. I'm getting after it. Do I continue or do I just bag it? Because I mean, there's not even any marathons being run now. there's no, all marathons in the country have closed. They've all been canceled.
Yep.
Or, so I could do that legitimately. Nobody would, no harm, no foul. Nobody would think anything of me if I just said, all right, I'm out. I'll stop for now. Or I can get better. I can take this time to get better. Like, let's run faster. Let's run harder. Let's train more. Let's not train less. Let's train more. If I was going to complete it with my own training before, how about I do better than complete it? What if I complete it with energy left? What if I complete it faster, better, harder than I ever did? I'm going to admit that I'm a huge Jocko Willink fan. Do you know who Jocko Willink is?
Oh, look, Jocko Willink. Here we go, David Goggins. Yeah, both of those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, Jocko Willink. He's like Navy SEAL. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got this whole thing about this whole concept of the attitude. If something doesn't work out your way, instead of complaining and being down on yourself about it. So the 100-mile race got canceled. Jocko would say, good, more time to train. And, so when I'm sitting here and with this, I'm listening, I'm hearing Jocko in my head go, what would Jocko do? You know what Jocko would do? He'd go, good, gives me more time to train harder. But I just keep getting after it. And then I just recently added Beachbody. You ever heard of Beachbody programs?
No, I have not. No.
It's like a video workout. So they have workout coaches and they just work just do workouts every day. You can do these challenges, 100-day challenge, 60-day challenge, whatever. And I never would have thought in a million years I would like it. It always seemed like a girl thing to me, it really did. It seemed like a little calisthenic-y,
No, never say that, because look.
I know, I'm just
never say that
honest.
Because look, never say that, look, because look, I'll tell you this.
I was admitting that I was wrong.
Yeah, because this is the thing. I can bench press a small truck when I'm in the mood for it. But I will not, I say this under my breath because my lady's in the other room, and if she hears this, do some of those yoga things. Hell no.
It's hard. It's hard.
Just there, let me hold this. No. I've tried it once or twice when she hasn't been around, and no, she's not going to walk in on me. That's when I go, okay, let me hold it. Oh, hell no.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. No, that's true. That's true. I just always couch it. It always kind of looked like it wasn't for me. Let me say that. It wasn't for me. But then I'm just looking for some kind of supplemental working out, to supplement my running. And I find this Beachbody, and it's 100 days. So this morning workout for 100 days. It's like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It's not long.
Yeah. Okay.
Do it for 100 days. I'm like, I'll do it for 100 days. It's the funnest. I can't believe how much I love it. I'm on day 66 and awesome. I just love it. It's challenging. It's sweaty. It's hard. It's everything that I didn't think it was going to be. And I can't wait to do the next program. Like, I'm literally going, I'm looking for because there's so many different programs you can do. I'm like, I'm going to do this one next. I'm going to do that one next. And I need more weights in here,
Yeah, no, that is great. I
love it.
Sounds fantastic. Oh, God. This is the thing. When you mentioned Jocko, the thing what always pops in my mind is you just see his watch in the morning. It's like time to earn a sunset, time to earn a sunrise, or something like this. And you kind of go, okay. It's like that.
Yeah, what's funny about that is I get up at 4 a.m. every day. I get 6 hours sleep. I go to bed at 10 and get up at 4, 7 days a week. And I have for years, way before I even heard of Jocko Willink. And it's because of this guy who wrote a book. I can't remember the guy's name, but he wrote a book called The Miracle Morning. You got to look this book up, The Miracle Morning.
Okay.
And he talks about how valuable mornings are. And he has this whole thing about sleep. And he says, everybody needs 8 hours of sleep, but you might only need 7.5. And could you imagine if you could operate just like you do now with an extra half hour in the morning? That would be really great. I mean, could you imagine you get an extra half hour just by going to 7.5 hours of sleep? Yeah. I mean, could you imagine just sleeping 7.5 hours instead of 8 and being okay? I mean, of course, right? So that's how he tricks you, see? So he's like, okay, so try that for a couple of weeks, see how you feel. I'm like, oh, I felt great. Because what if you only did 7 hours? What if you, I mean, imagine if you had another hour in the morning. Like every one of us are running behind every morning. Imagine if somebody gave you a magic wand and said, poof, you get an extra hour in the morning. Would you give it a try? I mean, of course you'd give it a try. You're like, all right, I'll give that a try. And so now you're setting your alarm. Now it's 7 hours. And, a couple weeks later, you're like, I don't even know the difference. I have so much more time in the morning. I can't believe how much time I have. I have gained this whole extra hour, and it doesn't bother me at all. He goes, what if you wanted an hour and a half? Like, could you imagine 90 extra minutes in the morning? Just set that clock back to 6.5 hours. Just see. Listen, if it's not for you, it's not for you. If 7 is the number, 7 is the number. You might always need 8. Fine. Then you're one of those people who luck out and you don't get the magic 1 hour or 90 minutes bump in the morning. And I just kept dialing it back, listening to him. I got to 6 hours, and I'm telling you, it's the perfect time for me. I get up at 4 a.m. My wife gets up at 6:30. I have 2.5 hours. Now, there are times I'm going to admit, there are times she'll wake up at 6:30 and say, what did you do for the last 2.5 hours? And I won't have a good answer. What did I do?
Thank you for asking that question.
I was stuck on Instagram for some reason. I got in a loop.
I just watch cat videos. I don't know what happened.
It happens. What are you going to do?
Yeah. A friend of mine, I was talking to her on LinkedIn earlier today, named Amy. And basically with the whole lockdown and everything like this, it's her husband, and her 2 kids. And she's like, hey, she's like, I need to get out. Need to just get some alone time. I was like, yeah. I went, hey, did you try sneaking out? She went, I tried that, and they all came with me. I was like, and he's like, okay. Then then the story went on. I was like, okay. Now she's like, yeah, I'm having a day of chill. No one interrupts me. I was like, okay, you relax, have a good one. But yeah, I think there's many a person, like the whole getting that extra time in the morning, especially if you're in a household where there's other people there, where you can have that time to yourself. It is amazing what you most probably could do with that time, because it's one of those things you go, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, it's one of those
amazing.
things.
I love it.
Yeah, if you wake up with everyone else, and I'm an early riser myself, but maybe not to the 4 a.m. extreme, but yeah, but it's a case of, that extra hour, even if it's just a little bit of thinking time to yourself, doing that little bit of work, because it's just one of those things. When everyone's up, I'm a person who likes to interact with people around me. It's just me and my lady here, but it's like, we get, before you know it, a conversation starts about something on the news, or just something day to day, or just those sort of random sort of conversations of debate, which just spark out of nowhere. And you'll be amazed at how much time that takes you. It's like, what happened to an hour? What happened to 2 hours? And because there's no commute to sort of break that up, the spiral goes deep. The spiral goes long. Before you
no question. And I'm a writer and I'm a reader. And so for the longest time, I was taking that time to just do that. I would just wake up in the morning, I'd have coffee, and I'd start reading, and I'd start writing, and I'd work out later. I wasn't working out until 6 a.m., 6:30, 7, go for a run or whatever. But lately I've changed everything. I've gone completely the opposite, just getting up and trying to get after it as fast as possible. It's like,
right.
How long after you get up can you be on the road running? Is it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30? This minute took me 30 minutes. I don't know. And I don't even know why. I have no, I'm on the road. I look at my watch. It's 4:30. I'm like, what the heck have I been doing for 30 minutes? Why is it taking? I'm so weak sometimes,
Yeah. No, but that's the thing with early mornings as well. Time can be quite fluid. You blink, and it's
so true.
You're just like, okay, because look,
so true.
One of the things my main thing I love doing is going to the gym. early in the morning, go get at it, lifting, doing what I need to do, and yeah, go off to work or come back home, depending on the day of the week. That is now gone for like from my sort of like lifestyle right now. And basically it's me, a kettlebell, push-ups, and like, you know what I mean, trying to keep things
Yeah.
going like that. And that because the gym's a different space, it's easier when I have a different space when instead of being at home. But
Yeah.
yeah, even with that, yeah, half an hour goes by very quickly. If I'm not going out for a run, yeah, there's like, yeah, get ready, choose, stretch, like morning coffee break type thing. Cool.
That's
And
what gets me is the stupid coffee. I got to wait
yeah,
for it to brew. I got to
yeah,
wait for this. I got to wait.
yeah. And then basically going out, either working out, running, and like, you know what I mean? It's just, I wish I had more time. I think don't we all, but you know how it
Well,
is.
that's the great equalizer, right? We all get the same 24 hours, you
Yes.
know.
And
And
what
so
we do
now
with
it's
it makes
game
a difference.
on, you know. Even
Absolutely.
Steven. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say, one of the really fun things that I really love, always have loved about getting out and running early in the morning, it's because, you know, less traffic and, you know, all that. Now during the coronavirus lockdown, I don't even have to wear a light. I used to be in all neon orange and yellow and scared.
Yeah.
There isn't a car around for a while.
No, like this is the thing. Like, there was about an 18-month, 2-year period. I was living out in Cambridge. I'm now back in London. Like if you ever come to the UK and you go to Cambridge to look at the cathedrals or whatnot, like the spires of the different colleges. Like what I would say to you is spend at least a night or two and then go running around Cambridge. There is hardly anyone about, especially if you're on the outskirts of town, because it's like a city of, I think, 200 to like maybe 250,000. Yeah. London, different beast, different animal. Like, yeah, no matter what time you go out, normally in London, there are a shed load of people out and about on the streets. Coronavirus now. I mean, like I went out running along Oxford Street. I don't know if you know Oxford Street. It's like think of it as Fifth Avenue. Like it's like basically one of the biggest
Oh, sure.
streets in Europe. So like it has people coming out of its ears, left, right, and center, more times than any time during the day. This was about two Saturdays ago. I went running, and like I went for a long run. I went down Oxford Street. 4 o'clock in the 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I ran into around about 20, 30 people, if that.
Wow.
It's just like deserted ghost town. It's like, yeah, right now it's a runner's paradise. If you like running, this is the best time for it. You will not run into hardly any people. You will not run into any traffic. It is fine. It's great.
Yeah, that's me here, but only in the morning. You can't run in the afternoon. There's so many kids on bicycles. Like bicycles have made a comeback. Like you wouldn't believe. We have packs of kids through the neighborhoods.
It's like, shouldn't you be on a phone or something like that? I've done that earlier today. Yeah. I'm going a little bit old school.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great. It's great. It's all great. Yeah. Working out. Love it.
Yeah, no, I'm loving that. Like, this is the thing. You've, like, from what I can see, you've, like, basically, when you left the military, you went out and you started a podcast, like, damn, like, pretty much at the sort of inception of it all. Like, yeah. Like, basically, and you ran it for, how many years did you run that for?
6 years. Yeah, 6 years.
Oh, my God. Like, this is the thing. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. Podcasting now, I would say it's infinitely more easy than most really back then, because, like, yeah, look, doing this over Zoom right now.
Way easier. Yeah.
It's like,
true.
You got stuff like the Rodecaster Pro and stuff like this, where you can, like, if you had people, you could just set it all up and you're good to go. Now, yeah, what was it like back then? Because, you know what I mean? as an old.
Well, the number one struggle I had to begin with was just how, like, what do you need? How do you do it? Like just the mechanics of it, the technology behind it. And then that wasn't nearly as hard as getting people to come over to my house to be on the show. Because, like you said, with Zoom and everything, this is amazing.
Yeah.
You had to physically come to my office to be which was in the basement of my house, to be on my show. And it really limited how many people I could get on my show, who would come on my show. And but we're just about to re-release all the episodes one at a time, because we've got hundreds of hours of shows, and it's called the Housekeepers Podcast.
Yeah.
And let me just give you a little backstory on why it's called the Housekeepers Podcast. It's because that's the industry I work in. It's housekeeping, dietary, laundry, facility maintenance in nursing homes. So that's what I do for work. That's where I spend most of my time.
Yeah.
By most of my time, I mean, all of my time. And it's always been a little bit of a sore spot for me, because it's hard to work in housekeeping, in the industry of housekeeping, and get respect from anybody who's not in the field of housekeeping. Like other people in housekeeping, we all just, of course, respect and love each other, right? But if you're outside of housekeeping, you're like, what do you mean you run a housekeeping company? What the hell does that mean? Do you clean houses or whatever? And, so people, they have a negative connotation with the turn of phrase housekeeping. You can't. So I turned it on its head, and I decided I was going to become the housekeeper with a capital H. Like I don't work in housekeeping. I am the housekeeper. And so then when I started my housekeeping company, one of the biggest challenges I had was in training new managers. So I did what everybody was doing. You go to the library, you try to find books and articles on leadership and management, and trying to share them with people I was trying to promote into leadership roles. And YouTube was making a pretty good stint right then. This is 2004, 2005, 2006, I guess. And YouTube was getting along pretty good. So somebody said, you should go to YouTube and try to watch videos on management. I was like, okay. So I go and I find this video, and it was called The Fireside Chat with an Executive. I was like, let me check that out. So it's a woman in a business suit, and swear to God, she is sitting beside a fire talking about employee engagement and team unity and all that. While she's talking on the video, I'm watching it, I'm getting phone calls about drug addicts, theft, people calling in, nobody doing the work they're supposed to be doing. I'm dealing with something way different than what she is. I wish I had her problem. I wish I was the type of executive who was like, what kind of donuts should we get my employees today? Instead, I'm the type of executive going, what do you mean nobody showed up today?
It's like it's just you by yourself, but what? Okay.
That's right.
I'll be there in about 10 minutes.
So I said, well, I think there's some space out here for someone to talk really real about management. I mean, somebody needs to talk about what it's really like so that we can really solve problems. I can't tell you how many times I run into people and they want to talk about leadership when I just met a teacher, a professor at a university who teaches leadership studies. And I asked her, what discipline in leadership, what's your focus? And she said inclusion and diversity. And I was like, I don't know what that means. Yeah. She's like, we focus on making sure that there's a diverse voice in the leadership team. I said, oh. I was just baffled. She's like, well, what do you focus on? And I was like, results. We focus on effectiveness. Yeah. We focus on who's getting it done. I never care what the voice, who's saying it, or what it, you know what I mean? It's so different to me the way some people look at it. From my point of view, we just need to get stuff done. We need to figure out the best way, the best candidate, the best person. And I have people in all walks of life, all races, all religions, male, female, all of it managing for me.
Yeah.
And they're just as effective and ineffective as each other. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. You can both be very effective and very ineffective. It doesn't matter if you are straight or gay. You can be very effective or very ineffective. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. You can be very effective or very ineffective. we all suffer from the same thing.
Yeah, no,
so that's how we started the House Kids podcast. So my buddy Adam and I got together, and I said, I want to start a podcast, and I had to explain to him what that was. I was like, what's a podcast?
Podcast? Looking at you like, podcast?
Podcast.
Yeah. It's where we talk and we put it up on the internet. Come on now, stop messing with me.
And anyway, so that's how it began, and we did it per season. We did like 25 episodes a season, and we did it for 6 years. And we treated it like we had album covers, for each season. Like we were trying to put it out as marketed as an album, but it was a lot of fun. Each episode was. When I first started, I thought, you had to have a tight 30 minutes, a tight 45 minutes, and then we'd get into some conversations, and we're 90 minutes, 2 hours in. I'm like, oh my God, that's too long. But nowadays, I listen to Joe Rogan's podcast. It's 5 hours long. I never even skip a beat. Jocko Willink, he could talk for 8 days in a row. I wouldn't sleep. I would just listen to his podcast.
Yeah. No, like you see, like when you're talking about those two, like, oh my Lord, you're talking about, I sometimes a little bit baffled how they manage to keep going, because look, don't get me wrong, like having a conversation, when you say I'm having a conversation with someone, you go, that's simple, it's straightforward, that's easy. But when you start really thinking about a conversation, like the sort of give and take and like back and forth, and like you're thinking about what people have been saying, and like, taking their information, adding it to that, and see if you're making. It's not an easy thing. It's a skill. And I don't think people actually realize that or see the real value behind it all, to say the least. But, yeah.
I agree. This is quite an art form to try to just keep a conversation going and flowing and making it interesting, because otherwise people aren't going to listen. Yeah. And if they're not going to listen, they're not going to get value from it. What are we doing? Yeah. What's the point? We're wasting your time. We're wasting my time.
Yeah, like because you started it with like doing 25 episodes a season, as you mentioned, album covers, everything like this, and then all of a sudden you were like going like, why? Like the sort of light bulb went off. You go, we shouldn't really be restricting ourselves.
Not only that, but I wanted to write a book. So I have been dreaming of being an author my whole life. Since I was 8 years old, I wanted to be a published author. I love writing. I just love it. I love making up stories. I love trying to figure out the best way to tell a story. I'm a huge fan. I read, I'm constantly consuming and going, I love the way they wrote that, and so it's always was a dream of mine, and I couldn't do it all. Like I had dropped out I had started doing a master's degree program. 3 times I dropped out of a master's degree program. 3 times because I couldn't work full time and do the master's program, and I was married, this whole life, and it's very challenging. I couldn't keep up with the workload 3 times. And so I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll never get a master's degree. Maybe that's just it for me. Maybe just a bachelor's is all I'm going to have. And I'm a high school dropout, by the way. That's important to know. So
hey, look, put it this way. It's not back then. It's not like it's what you're in your present, and then basically how you build your future. Like, because this is the thing. I see people who get hung up with regards to their past, especially when it comes to the level of education. And I go, come on now. I haven't done this. I haven't done that. There's no way I can be smart enough. I'm not smart enough to do this. It's like, look, put that aside. That was like you as a kid. And like, if you looked at you as a kid to you as an adult, or like you 3 or 4 years ago, it's completely different. So get up, get at it. If you can make it happen, that's great. If you can't, if it doesn't happen, maybe it's not the thing for you, and you find your next thing to help elevate you and make you better. That's what I simply say. That's the way you should look at it. And like, you being a high school dropout, you've come a long way. Come on now.
No, I agree. It's hard sometimes not to ruminate on your past, because you're like, man, if I'd have worked a little harder when I was younger, if I'd have known what I know now, so it's hard not to. But so I am a high school dropout. I got my first job doing housekeeping. I was cleaning condos at a ski resort when I was 16. So that was a lot of fun. And so I quit school because I thought, I knew enough. So I didn't go back. I didn't get my GED till I was 23. I got my associate's degree when I was 26. I got a bachelor's degree when I was 30. My second bachelor's degree when I was 32 or 33. Then I finally, I do this podcast because I'm not going to get a master's degree because I can't focus enough. So I do a podcast. And then the podcast is exposing me to people who are very smart and have great ideas and leadership and management. And I just love it. I can't consume enough about leadership and management and development and how to get better. And there's a program called Organizational Leadership. It's a master's degree program through Champlain College or through Southern University, New Hampshire University. It's online. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. So I start, and I quickly realize, once again, the workload is way more than I have time for. I can't work, have a podcast that I'm doing every week, and do this. And so something had to give. And I'm like, I'm not going to give this up again. I'd rather give up the podcast than the idea of learning more and getting better at this job. So I gave up the podcast, started doing my management, started taking my master's classes, and wrote my first book. So I wrote my first book, got it published. 3 books later, they all went to #1 on Amazon. I can't tell you how excited I am. And it's, just because I sat in a chair and I said, don't leave this chair until you got it done. Let's go. Yeah. Discipline, get it done.
But this is the thing, it's like, that is wow on many levels. Because look, if you did sit yourself down who dropped out at school and went, it's not my thing, don't think it's going to happen, and went, okay, and you someone just showed you each and every sort of snapshot going, yeah, by the way, you're going to get your GED at 23, yeah, you're going to get a degree, oh yeah, you're going to get another degree, bachelor's, and and went, yeah, then you're going to trip, stumble a few times, and before you know it, you'll be you'll have a master's. What I think you must already have some rather colorful expletives to say to go, you're crazy, you're mad, you're what the hell you trying to push?
What's funny is now you have to learn you have to be really humble, because there's a lot of people who simply can't, their mindset, they can't do something. That's too hard, I haven't got the time, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I 4 college degrees while I was working full time, going to night school. You can't do this one thing. You know what I mean? So, and nobody wants to hear that from me. So I got to keep it. And be like, I don't know. Maybe you don't have it. I don't know.
This is the thing. I think it's always a little bit harder when, if you haven't seen other people do it, and 2, if you got yourself in that sort of counteractive mindset where because you haven't actually got up and done it yet to sort of get things started. And this is the thing with regard, just using yourself as an example, you did you went for the masters, didn't come together, went for the masters, didn't come together. It took you doing a podcast, meeting a number of different people along the way who basically they went help kick you up, kick you into a new frame of thinking, and you go, oh, wait a second. I can. And every time you most probably look for an excuse to go, you know what, I can't do this because of this. And you're yeah, that person you remember having a podcast with is there sitting in your head or over there, and going, okay, yeah. And it's oh, right. And this is one of the things I think many people don't go with. There always has to be some element of sacrifice. It took sacrificing your podcast to get you to that next stage, something you love to do, and people you get into meet, talk to get you into that next stage. But with that sacrifice, you got your masters, and then not 1, not 2, but 3 books written in that time. And now you are making steps, no doubt, to come back to the podcasting world in a major way with like releasing new, like old content, doing new content, and
Yeah.
yeah, a whole host of new experiences. Like, yeah.
Yes, I started a online university myself. So now I have my own management school, the Ralph Peterson Management School.
Yeah.
And it's an online university where I'm teaching, I'm doing the same, I'm doing video-based classes on management, on how to manage, how to break down management, how to handle problems, how to look at staff, how to assess situations from staffing buildings to having problems, dealing with difficult people, you name it. You know, it's amazing that I went from high school dropout to owning a university, you know, but and owning a university, we should put in air quotes because we're talking about an internet-based video series.
Hey, look, but like this, the whole thing. How did you get that started? Can you tell us about that? Because it's like high school dropout.
Well, quite honestly, it started the same way that I started the podcast. I need to train my managers. I work with managers at all different levels, and I need to give them resources. And a lot of times I need them. It's easier for me to say, hey, listen, let me put a video together for all 6 of you, and then watch the video, then we'll discuss it. And that's what I started doing. Like, instead of having 6 different conversations, let me have one. Let me explain how management works. Let me break it down for you. I'm going to use a school analogy. I talk about how they manage schools. And that's a perfect example of how you manage as a manager. It's just how you break it down. So this whole thing, and then I go, okay, put it up. Let's talk about it. And, they're all like, oh my God, that was pretty great. But what about this? What about that? So I'll make adjustments. And then I go to take a class, an online class, and they're like, yeah, it's $79, blah, blah, blah. Here's the access code. And you know what it is? Videos with questions at the end that I have to answer. It's literally the same thing I'm doing for my management team. They're doing it, and they're calling it it's a university, and it is. It's engaging. It's good information. You're having some interaction with the instructor. I'm like, I can do that. And there's a clear need because I have I have 5 rules of management. I have the 7 lies all new managers believe. I have, all these things that I go through, and then how to manage, how to set up buildings, how to do workflows, how to do job flows, how to do inspections, everything.
Oh,
so it's great.
No, sounds fantastic.
That's how I did it. Yeah.
This is the thing. Lots of hard work, lots of time gone into.
1,000,000%. I mean, you have to write the whole thing, and then you have to videotape it, and then you have to figure out where you're going to put it, what platform you can use. I use a platform called Kajabi. Okay. And you go to Kajabi, and it's an online learning platform where people can create courses and everything. So that's what I did. And then you got to market it and sell it and try to get people interested and try to provide value. And, I work for myself. So I own a management services company. And in that management services, I offer consultation, I offer education, one-on-one mentoring education, and I offer full management services where I bring in my management team to manage your housekeeping or your laundry or your dietary department in nursing homes. So that's my bulk of my business. And it's all based on video. So when I take on a new account, I get a new client, it's all, hey, watch this series of videos and then let's talk about it. Because I've already done that work. I've already explained it. So watch it. Let's talk about it. And let's figure out what maybe you got out of it or didn't get out of it. Did you understand? Did you not understand? And it allows us to do it allows us, the person I'm working with and myself, to get over a big chunk of information so that we can drill down specifically for them. Here's the concept. Here's the big picture view. All right, now let's talk about you. So by providing that in the video format, they can do it at their leisure. And then when they're ready to talk just about themselves and their leadership problems or their leadership experiences and where they're maybe struggling a little bit. So we spend, when we're on the phone or when we're on a video call like this, we're way more productive because we've already got that big thing out of the way. Super helpful.
Yeah. So with that, how many people have gone through your course to date?
I'm not sure, probably 100. So not a lot, but enough to get some pretty good feedback and make some changes and adjustments and go, oh, I didn't think of that, or oh, I should reshoot that video because it was this, and and I am not a listen. I'm a former United States Marine. I'm not a sugarcoat, high five, rainbows and cookies type of manager. That's not me. I'm not all kumbaya. We'll all get along. I'm not, if you bring a carousel, everyone will get on it and have a good time at work. Work is not always a good time. Sometimes we actually have to do stuff we don't like. Sometimes the stuff that we have to do is uncomfortable. It is dirty. It smells. We're getting attitude. We don't want to do stuff. We don't have enough staff. We don't have the right equipment. The equipment we do have is not really good, or it broke, or okay, right? Like that's reality. I'm a real manager, and I think if you talk to people who I work with, they would tell you that I am my expectations are pretty high. My expectations are high on me, and my expectations are high on you. So we're going to set the objective for the day, and we're going to do our best to hit that target. And it's a moving target. Management intention changes as that target moves, as it should. And we just try to meander the best we can, but I don't take a lot of excuses. I just sent out a memo that I want all of my managers to call every person who calls in sick. I want them to give them a hard time. I want you to be a pain in their butt if they call in sick. I want you to be the type of manager that the employee would rather go to work sick than to deal with you on the phone if they call out. Now, see, there's strategy in that. It's because how many times have you ever done something that you wouldn't want to do or didn't think was your job because you didn't want to deal with the person who was asking you to do it? You ever done that? Yeah. You ever just like, I'll just do it. It's easier to do it than to deal with that person.
Yeah.
That's what our staff do every day to our managers. Our management team will go like, I'll just do it myself. I'm not going to ask Kim. Good Lord, if I ask Kim to do one more thing, she's going to freak out, give me attitude, and I don't want to deal with it. I'm like, oh my God, who's in charge here? It's Kim, the employee. Yeah. She's winning the attitude battle. She's winning a psychological fist fight. That psychological fist fight is all about who's going to be the one who does something more than they're supposed to or expected to, or doing something they're asked to do because they don't want to deal with somebody else. They don't want to deal with their attitude. They don't want to deal with the phone call. The employee always wins that game. I'm tired of employees winning that game. Yeah. If you call out, you work for me, I'm calling you. I'm going to say, why are you calling out? And they're going to go, I don't feel well. What does that mean? Well, I still have to get, I'm always having to go to the bathroom like every 30 minutes. Yeah, well, we have like 30 bathrooms in our office. We can go to the bathroom here. Well, my throat hurts. Well, they can buy Lodgins, like a cough drop on the way to work. Well, my head hurts. Well, take aspirin, come to work. Yeah. These are not reasons not to come to work. Yeah. My leg hurts, my bum knee hurts, my back hurts, I have a headache, I'm not feeling very well, I have to use the bathroom. None of those reasons on why you shouldn't come to work. Come to work. Yeah. You know what? Sometimes, you know what they say to me? I'm not coming to work, Ralph. Stop calling me. All right, fine. But I know the next time that they have a little bit of an ailment, they're going to weigh in their mind. Is this bad enough where I want to deal with Ralph when he calls? And sometimes they're going to say, I'm just going to go in because I don't want to deal with Ralph. If anybody ever says, I'm going in because I don't want to hear it from my boss, I win. I win that day.
I hear you. Like with regards to, okay, like that, I can see one sort of tactical problem with today's environment when you talk about that.
No, actually, it's quite the opposite. Actually, it's even more true today. I even do it more today.
Really?
Because I work in long-term care. I work in nursing homes, which has been really affected by the coronavirus.
Yes.
A lot of people are getting affected. A lot of people are dying. Elderly people are dying in nursing homes because of the coronavirus. And I also still have people calling out for no reason. So we're in a place where we need critical staff. We need people to show up. You can't call out now. We don't have the luxury of you calling out. We need all hands on deck right now. People are dying. There's a virus going on. And we're like, no, my knee's bothering me a little bit, so I'm not going to work today. What do you, your knee? You better hobble your butt in here. There's no, I'm not going to work today. I mean, it's even more true today.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your ailment is. If it's not coronavirus, come to work. That's it. Because we don't have the luxury. And I got to tell you, if you're the type of manager who's working in any type of healthcare industry, and your attitude is that you're not going to push back on your staff. If they want to call out, they should be able to call out. And we're going through a pandemic like this. Turn in your management badge, because you're being the most ineffective manager. It'd be better not to have you as a manager, because you're being so super ineffective.
Yeah.
You know what I have on my desk, and I give them to all my managers? It's a no button. No, you press it. No. You know why I give them the no button? Because most managers have a problem saying no. All managers, they want to just agree. Oh, yeah. Sure. Oh, you need tomorrow off. Oh, that's fine. Oh, you want to leave early. Oh, I understand. Oh, you can't come in till noon today. Oh, don't worry about it. People are dying. They're dying. And we can't get staff. We can't get staff to come in to work on time. You know what it reminds me of? And let me just finish my point here. I told you when it's about management, I don't have rainbows, cookies, high fives. Leave that at the door.
No
Not
problem.
me.
No. I'm getting that impression.
Yeah. This is such a fascinating statistic. One of the number one problems that managers had during the Great Depression was people showing up to work. Think about that for a minute. During the Great Depression, when there wasn't any work, there were food lines.
Yeah.
The people that did have jobs still didn't want to go to work. Still went in late, left early, got there, didn't want to do their job, had all kinds of excuses on why they couldn't come in. Managers struggled to find people who wants to work during the Great Depression. It's the same thing that's happening to me right now.
Yeah.
The only industry hiring is healthcare, and we're not getting staff to come in. People are calling out all the time. People are not caring about their job. I'm like,
yeah, that sounds mental to me, but
you're killing it.
Because okay, we're going through the coronavirus at this moment in time. Like the big COVID is here, and
the big COVID.
The big COVID. It's here. It's like basically it's raging everywhere around the world. It's been locked down. Places in China which opened up have gone back to being locked down. And with regards to that, it's affecting the economy globally in such a way that, the way, like when it first started, I was expecting like a small spike recession, like basically like a V, down and basically back up quite quickly. This might be like a U at this present time, down,
right,
staying there for a good couple of quarters before it goes up. 2020, financially speaking, economically speaking, it's done. It's over. And I can't see it coming back until third quarter, maybe fourth quarter 2021 on the near side. And
I hope you are so wrong and so far off. I hope it's way sooner than that.
No, I'm speaking from the point of I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping it comes back a lot more quickly than this. But the way it's looking over here in the UK, lockdown, they're talking about early June for like the first stage lockdown. Coming out of it, and then
same here.
And then that's going to be some more shops open, most probably like social distancing. And as for anything else, that's hopefully going to be 70-80% of the economy back, quote unquote, online, doing what it should be doing. But anything hospitality, like bars, restaurants, pubs, like conferences, all of that, here in Christmas time. And this is the reason why.
You're right. No, you're absolutely right.
And when
you're absolutely right.
When you hear that, it's like, okay, economy going on an upswing, and like this is the whole thing. When you start, like when you sit down and really think about it, it's not just the US economy. Like it's like if the US economy gets fired up, but no one else gets fired up, it's not
Ain't
going
gonna
anywhere.
work.
And
No,
so,
ain't gonna
same
work.
thing with the UK. So trying to get
Yeah.
that all coordinated on a global scale where every
Mhm.
country is like, okay, we're back online at the same time and moving forward. It's tricky. It's very tricky because I don't know about you, but you know what I mean? You just see one element of the economy in our own individual countries. If that's down, it really has a domino effect. But when you're talking on a
Mhm.
global thing, boy, is quite dramatic. It's quite sort of like, yeah. There is an element of it which is scary, but like I know when we do come back, this is the thing I know in my heart of hearts. When it does come back proper, like if it is like a U, like I think it's going to be, it's going to come back strong, very strong, and bigger and badder than ever. And yeah, it might take us a year or like a good few years to get back to what we are now. But I think the upward side of it, which is going to just go on and on and on for a good long time. That's the way I see it. I don't know if you agree. You might have a different sort of point of view on that. Yeah.
No, I think that everybody is ready to get back after it, and I think a lot of things are gonna change, and I think some are gonna be really good changes and positive changes. Some things are probably gonna be not so good, not so positive. You know, I'm sure there's gonna be an awful lot of people who are a lot more prepared going forward for emergencies. You know, a lot of people
Yeah.
we all got caught going, oh crapola, like I didn't think this would happen. And we're not talking about industries, even just at home, you know, you're like, I have enough food till Friday because that's always when I shop, and all of a sudden there's no food on Friday. Like I should have been ready. I should have had more canned goods.
Yeah.
You know, I should have had some kind of preparation. These preppers were right. No, but I think there's going to be an awful lot of change. But I think with the openness and the availability of real-time information, it's not like the 87. In 87 we had a big downturn in the economy, which was pretty devastating. It's not like it's not going to be like the Great Depression. It's going to be way faster recovery, working together. A lot of industries are going to grow out of this. A lot of industries are going to die. I mean, I am a professional speaker. I do keynote speeches. My audience is long-term care, healthcare administrators, CEOs, CFOs, people, and I speak on leadership, management development, how to get the super worker to become the supervisor. And I have honed my keynotes and my speeches for years. And I love them and I do really well. I have just gone through and taken all that moniker off of my social media, off of my platform. I'm taking away keynote speaking because it's just simply not coming back. It may be, I mean, there's going to be conferences. There's going to be, not for me, it isn't. Because even if it does come back for me, it won't be for years. I've got to reset, refocus my business where it makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And last year I did pretty good supplementing my management company with speaking. This year, I'm not going to have any supplemental. There's no speaking business out there. So I'm taking it on. I'm like, you know what, forget the keynote speaking, forget the seminar business. I'm going straight to management services, knocking on doors, making cold calls. I was making cold calls all morning this morning before we got on this call.
Yeah.
Just calling nursing homes and saying, if you need any help, this is what I offer. This is what I do. Let me know if you need any help, because my business is only 3 years old. You know, the threshold for a company like mine, any new business, is 5 years. They fail within the first 5 years. I mean, the failure rate is pretty huge.
Yeah.
I have 2 full-time employees working for me right now. One in which I don't even know if I'm going to be able to keep full-time at this current state because I just don't have the work. And so I'm mindful. I have mouths to feed at home, and I have responsibilities to my employees, and I've got to keep working. I've got to keep trying to press. So I think that what I was trying to say is that some industries are going to fail, and those who are able to pivot and work around and try to figure out what the next move is or could be, I think this economy is going to come back super fast because there are so many people who are going to be able to just go, all right, well, forget that then. Let me come here. Let me do this. Let me do that. So, and hopefully, God willing, I'll be one of those people who's able to roll with this.
Look, put it this way. Put it this way. I'll put money on that you will be one of those people, because look, like your attitude sort of like, and work ethic has like brought you like, it brought you success in the military. It's brought you great success educationally, like speaking, and basically it's got you to a point where you've written 3 books, and then now you've started the company. Like, yeah, you were keynote speakering for most of last year. Unfortunately, that's gone away for 2020. Fingers for 2021, 2022. I think that it might come back then. And yeah, like the whole thing is you've found a way to keep yourself moving forward. I think with regards to people's mindset out there, I think it's a case of they need to have a certain degree of more flexibility in the way they take their approach to many things in life, especially over the next, I would say, 2 to 5 years, because I think it's going to be a case of, yeah, there's going to be a huge explosion and there's going to be huge opportunities coming out of it, like late 2021 for sure, definitely in 2022 and going forward from there. But if people are not prepared to like, okay, you know what, learn new skills, or be a little bit more humble, then I think they're going to be left behind. And like, yeah, if they think too rigidly, or they've just got too much of a chip on their shoulder, they are going to find themselves hurting for real, because this is going to be a time where you can't have that chip on your shoulder. You can't be unwilling to learn. You can't be unwilling to push yourself to new, like to harder, faster, stronger, like, you know what I mean, to get to that next level. Because if you don't, it's the emphasis, it's going to be always on them. It's not anyone else, not the world was against me, because look, right now the world is what it is, and we're all in the same boat for the best part of it. And like, you know what I mean? Like,
I agree. The same wind blows on us all, right? It depends on how we respond to it, right?
Yeah.
We all get the same 24 hours. So
yeah,
get after it.
Absolutely. And like, you know, with that, I know this is why I'll say once again, I will put money on it that you'll come through on the other side with no problems at all. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Certainly working hard to do it. So.
Oh yeah, look, put it this way, getting out there, cold calling, doing that side of things. And look, I know how much of a slog cold calling can be, like calling like businesses in like good times, healthy economic times. And I know what it's like when like cold calling, when you've got a downturn. It's like,
That's right. And I'm calling nursing home administrators who are super busy right now.
Just a smidge. It's
like, hey, do you have a minute? They're like, no, what do you want?
it's like, we're dealing with something right now.
Yeah. But my only saving grace is I can help. Like I work in nursing homes. I can help. If you need the help, I can help. Let's make it easy for you. I can help. So
absolutely.
Well, this has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you having me on. It's been really great.
No, thank you for coming on today. And yeah, like it's much appreciated. I'm loving your insight. I'm loving your stories. And I look forward to. I wish I could have you on again. No doubt.
You certainly can. Let's book it. We'll come on again.
Excellent. Would it be possible to tell the lovely people out there where they can find you on your social medias and such?
Absolutely. So just go to my website, ralphpeterson.com, and at the bottom of the page is all my social media links to Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn. Everything's down there. And so is my email, phone. If you need to get a hold of me for any reason, don't be afraid to reach out. I look forward to meeting and talking to everybody.
Excellent. I'll put down your links also in the description. And
Excellent.
like hopefully a plethora, a multitude of people will come out and like, yes, get in contact with you. But I've got to
Yeah.
say, Ralph, it has been a pleasure having you on today. Outstanding. Thank you very much for giving up some of your time, taking a break from your cold calling to speak to some, like a chap in the UK. Been excellent, been outstanding. I would like to say thank you very much. Have a great day. Be awesome, be excellent. And yes, peace to you.
Thank you so much. Take care.
No worries. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Hey, my friends, my life warriors. And yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.